start taking questions. Kevin McGran, go ahead.
Hey, Sid, nice to chat with you. Congratulations on being named captain yet again. I wonder what you know about John Cooper and why you think he might be the right choice for Team Canada's captain coaching now.
I know him a little bit, just from over the years, being at different events and just having conversations with him. Obviously, I know a lot of guys who have played for him, and I think from what you hear from guys, just how good of a communicator he is. That's been my experience with him as well. But he's obviously won, at every level, and is somebody that's well respected by players and people throughout the league. So, seems like somebody who'd be a great fit.
Go to Josh Clipperton.
Hey, Sid, congrats. Just wondering, you're obviously focused on getting the Pens in the playoffs and the Four Nations was coming up, but how much does getting to Milan in 26 drive you, and how badly do you want that third gold medal and a first for guys like Connor, Nate, and the rest of the core?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something I think in the back of my mind for sure. Having the experiences that I was able to have and just knowing how great it is to be able to compete in the Olympics. Yeah, I think it's something that's in the back of my mind. It's something you have to earn, but it would be a pretty cool experience to be able to be part of that group.
Stephen Wino.
Hey, Sid, congratulations. Obviously, this will be a first chance for you to play with Connor McDavid. And as someone who has sort of had a similar trajectory in terms of rounding out your game and all that thing as you've gotten older in your career, what do you most appreciate about Connor and kind of how he's rounded out his game over his last nine or 10 years?
Yeah, I think just being able to constantly evolve and adapt. I mean, I think naturally he's probably more of a playmaker. Obviously, he's scored a ton throughout his career, but I think that's something that you could tell that there was a point in time where I felt like he decided that he wanted to score a little bit more, and he was able to do that. So, but I think in all areas, I think anyone will tell you with every year that goes by, um, you have to constantly evolve and adapt, especially a player like him that gets so much attention. Teams are trying to stop every night. So, um, yeah, that's a progression. I think that's important if you want to continue to have success. And, he's been able to do that at a pretty incredibly high level.
Mike Zeisberger.
Sid, you're a student of the game. You lived with the Parises, so you knew all about Team Canada 72, and you've said that Paul Henderson's goal was the biggest one that you remember. You lived with Mario, 87 goal. You've had one yourself. What is it for you when you put on that Canadian jersey that makes you rise to the top? And do you ever, I mean, you won a gold medal with the juniors, 2 Olympic gold medals, a World Cup championship. What is it when you put on that Canadian jersey? And do you ever think about the legacy you've created on the international stage wearing that jersey?
I think when you put on that jersey, I think it's just you think about team, you think about representing your country, and the goals you mentioned, are one thing that they come to mind. But I think the teams that you grow up watching, and just some great players that have played for Team Canada. But I think the biggest strength of Canada has always been their ability to play as a group. And there's no doubt when you collect a lot of great players and put them together, you got to find a way to come together. And I think Canadian teams have always shown that's a strength of theirs, and that's something that any team that wants to have success, they need to be able to do that. So I think that's what comes to mind when I think about playing for Canada, is just the team aspect and the ability to play as a group and find ways to win.
Matt Larkin.
Hey Sid, congrats on the captaincy. I just wanted to ask you, you look at the standings right now, you guys are 15th in the Eastern Conference. You missed the playoffs last couple years, and just relative to the kind of grind it's been in Pittsburgh, do you see this tournament as sort of a mental reset for you and kind of a chance to just get a break from it and just put yourself in a new hockey environment for a little bit?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think regardless of what your situation is with your own club coming in, I think this is something everyone's really excited for. And whether you've won five in a row or you're grinding to put wins together, this is something that's for a long time. We haven't been able to do this, so I think everyone's excited for that. Personally, I am not specifically, because we've been trying to grind ourselves here. That's part of it, but if anything, hopefully that urgency and desperation and situation that we're in will help. Going into the Four Nations as far as just being at my best. But yeah, I think that everyone gets excited when you have this opportunity.
Mike Morreale.
Hey Sid, congrats. Thanks for doing this. The rivalry against the U.S. never gets old. How much are you looking forward to that in this inaugural event? And what do you like about this Canadian roster?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a rivalry that's been around for a bit, and you look at their roster, so much depth, and you look at any roster really, but definitely theirs. Yeah, I think that with our team, I think just the collection of guys, um, there hasn't been much opportunity for this group to be together. So I think it's more just getting excited to get the guys together, to be in the same place to practice and build. But I would say if anything, it's just that it's just to get together as a group and get everyone on the same page.
Trey Matthews.
Thank you. Sid, congratulations. Obviously, with a new product, a lot of people have expressed their opinions. With you being the captain for Team Canada, I'm curious to hear your perspective on how Four Nations can potentially help grow the sport, especially with the Winter Olympics taking place next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's I said it earlier, it's been a while since we've been able to play these kind of best on best international hockey. So if you look at the rosters, I think there's a lot to get excited about when you look at that and you look at the matchups and best on best, everyone competing against one another internationally. For people that are hockey fans, that's what you love to see. So, I think for that reason alone, and the fact that it's been a while, we'll just add to it.
Kevin McGran.
On that note, Sid, this tournament has no history, no background, no traditions or anything like that. And it is mid-season, sort of replacing the All-Star game. So there's a few skeptics out there that wonder if this is going to be closer to an All-Star game in terms of intensity, or will it be more closer to a World Cup? What are your thoughts on what we're going to see?
I'd say closer to World Cup if I had to guess. I think when you put guys together representing their countries, I think it brings out the best in them. And you throw in the fact that a lot of guys haven't had this opportunity. I would, I would think it's going to be closer to a World Cup.
Josh Clipperton.
Hey, Sid, just to follow up on that a little bit, just wondering what you think it's going to be like that first practice with Canada and what's going to be like to walk into that locker room. I mean, you've waited a long time to get back to this level. A lot of guys have never been at this level.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, there's always a learning curve, and when you have a new group and you're in a situation like that, the learning curve's quick. So I think you got to take in as much information as you can, but ultimately, everyone's picked for a reason. They're selected for what they bring. So you've got to be able to to bring that and just find a way to be your best right away. But I think everyone's excited. All the guys that I've talked to leading up to this, whether playing against them or just keeping in touch with guys, they're excited for this opportunity, and that's part of it. When you get a new group together, but it should be fun.
Stephen Wino.
Sid, obviously you lost a real good player in Alex Petrangelo. There's talk of maybe Drew Doughty after coming back that he might play on this team. If he is the choice, like what does he bring for the game for all the experience and all the times you play with him internationally?
You're talking about Dewey?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, obviously he's got a ton of experience internationally, and then in the NHL, and on the runs that he's been on with LA. But I think, above that too, he's pretty versatile back there. He's a guy who can play in any situation, really. So I think just, his experience and the fact that, he can play in a lot of different situations, would be things that he brings.
Dylan Robiar, go ahead.
Hi Sid. I just wanted to ask you, kind of how does it feel to be the captain? Obviously with Pittsburgh, you're the captain as well. But kind of what does it feel like to be in that sort of role again and be that leader that everyone kind of knows you to be?
It's an honor, to be honest with you. I think that when you're part of groups like this, you appreciate the fact that there's a lot of guys who are captains or assistant captains on their own clubs. There's no shortage of leadership whatsoever, but I think just the responsibility and just being part of that group is something I'm excited for. But especially in this scenario too, where it's a lot of new guys. I think that's something that we've got a lot of guys who are excited, but also that's something that we can build right away. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Can take a couple more for Sid here. Go to Mike Zeisberger.
Yeah, Sid, you mentioned it a few months ago, but now that we're less than 2 weeks away, they're kind of calling you and McKinnon and Marchant the Nova Scotia Mafia. But as you get a step closer now, how cool is it actually going to be, whether you guys are on the same line or not? And I know Marchant's been pushing for that, but how cool is it going to be that three guys that grew up so close together, albeit at different ages, and skate in the summers, are actually going to be representing the country in less than 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's special. I mean, we skate together, like you said, in the summer. Growing up there, I think that it's just something that we appreciate that we have the opportunity to do that. All being different ages, it doesn't always work out that way. So the fact that we can do it, yeah, I think that we just appreciate that opportunity. And like you said, whether we play on the same line or not, I don't think that's something that it's not something I'm thinking about a whole lot. Just being on the same team, for a group of guys that train together, seeing how they work in the summer and how much they put into it, and knowing what this means to them, that's really what it's all about.
Last question, we'll go to Mick Colaggio.
Thank you, Sid. Typical historically Canadian national team rosters, a lot of centermen. So some centers are asked to play wing. You've been on several of these. What have you learned through the years about making these kinds of adjustments and working with players who are used to having the puck in different places when they're playing with their regular team, and now it's different because guys are going to be asked to do things that they're not normally doing in their role with their own club?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think the challenge for any team, when you get together on international stages, you have players playing different roles, and that's something that I think that you have to find a way to to be at your best regardless of the situation and what role you're in. So I think it's something that the teams who do that the best, who are able to adjust the best, are going to have the most success. And you've just got to be open-minded, I think, as a player, and understand that's part of it. And I'm sure every single guy on our team is willing to do whatever's asked and play any role in order to have success. So but that's always part of the learning curve and challenges, to be able to do that as good as anybody.